Life is a marathon, not a sprint, so pace yourself. Karin Linder.
How many of you ever had a dream? And how many of you did everything it takes to make this dream a reality? Mr. Contest Chair, honorable judges, fellow Toastmasters, and most welcome guests. Well, growing up, I had many dreams. But as soon as I became an adult, some of those dreams faded away. And I soon realized if I wouldn't do anything on my part, nothing was going to happen. Back home in Austria, I used to work in a bank. And slowly, I worked my way up from being a teller to eventually becoming an investment consultant. I lived my life day by day, month by month, year by year. But one day, my cousin, who is now the CEO of Volkswagen in Mexico, asked me, "So Karin, what's next?" And this was a great question because it made me think. I thought, could this be everything there is to life? Working in a bank, in the same job, day in and day out, until I retire? And my zest for life and my adventure brought some of the dreams back to reality. I started to remember. I always wanted to help other people to become the best they can be. I wanted to move to a foreign country, to learn English better. I wanted to stand in front of a group of people and speak to them. I wanted to jump out of a plane with a parachute. I wanted to travel. I wanted to run marathons, and eventually I wanted to have my own business. Looking back, this seems so surreal, but 10 years later, I am doing or have done everything I have just mentioned and even more. In 2006, I ran my first marathon. And when I started my business in 2007, I realized running a marathon and running a business is very much the same. I had to analyze my body and my business skills, honestly. And then I decided I have to develop my sense of humor first. Because if you are going for success, you better don't take yourself too seriously. Running a marathon is not like running a sprint. You gotta start off slow with a strong mindset. You gotta surround yourself with supportive people. You have to have a goal and a plan. You have to be determined, persistent, and committed. And you better don't forget to have fun along the way. The same holds true for business. I am passionate about creating positive change in manufacturing environments. And I'm pretty much a pioneer. I created something from nothing, but I guess that's what entrepreneurs do. I know how hard I have worked to build my business the past 3 years, despite my little voice in my head. Don't think I'm crazy. You know this little voice talking to you. And you can hear it right now, thinking, little voice, what is she talking about? That's the little voice I'm talking about. It's so important to control the voice in our head because it holds us back from the things we want to accomplish. Countless days of doubt, fear, and frustration, even tears in my underground parking lot, when everything seemed so hopeless. But my vision of what it can be kept me going. And I always say, there is no negative without something positive. And the advantage of hitting rock bottom is there is only one way to go, up. Only one way to go. So important that we always remember that. in my experience, it does not matter how often you fall down. It does not matter how often you hear no. It does not matter when something doesn't work the first time. It's all about readjusting and trying it again and again and again. We all know how it is when little kids fall. They fall and they try again. And they fall and they try again, because failure is not an option. They want to walk, they want to see the world from a different perspective. And one kid will walk with 9 months and the other one with 15. But it's a given that they will walk. Can you remember the hockey final at the Olympic Games? Did you see what happens when a team is trying not to lose instead of doing everything it takes to win? The Canadian hockey team had a 2-0 lead, and all of a sudden they changed their game strategy from offensive to defensive. Why? Who is to say that they couldn't have won 10-0 if they would have continued to play proactively instead of reactively? See, when I hit a roadblock in my business, then I go for a training run and I imagine this roadblock being a hill. And I run up this hill even faster because I know when I'm up the hill, then there is a nice and easy downhill for cruising along. But in the end of the day, I want you to remember, you have to enjoy the journey. Because in the end of the day, it's not about the goal, it's about the person you become in the process. And that's the important thing to remember. So, if you have a dream, I encourage you to dream big. And I want you to do whatever it takes to make this dream a reality. Because if I can do it, every single one of you can do it. Madam Contest Chair.